So, hello everybody. Welcome to our Econ podcast called Econverse. Here we have me, Drake Van Houten, a debt manager.
I'm Braden Hensley. I'm going to be working with spending plans and budgets.
Tyler Orcella, here to help you manage risk.
And then we have two special guests with us today. We have Victor Suggs.
What's up?
And Bridger Fletcher.
The radical Bridger Fletcher.
So, Victor, you're here because you had you're having some financial issues. Can you tell us about that?
I'm just terrible at managing money, and I decided to come to the most financially sound guys I know, you two, three.
Well, we appreciate that.
That really means a lot to me, Victor.
Very indicative.
Want to know what means a lot to me? Not my money.
Well, let's start out with what is your biggest and worst spending habit, you think?
I eat out a lot. That's my biggest spending habit.
Now the spending habit is it, how bad is it? How often do you eat out?
A lot. Usually at least once a week. With my friends or enemies.
All right. Now, Braden, I understand you know quite a bit about managing your money. What tips do you have for our friend Victor?
So, do you think about if you're going to need what you're buying before you do?
Almost never.
Well, that might be one of your problems. You need to always think about if you need something before you buy it. That's why setting up a budget or spending plan can easily help. A spending plan or a budget is basically you set up a calendar or think about what you're going to buy for that week. So you set aside some extra money, and you only use that money or the budgeted money to spend.
Wow, I never thought of it that way before. That means all of the terrible garbage I've been buying is completely, I don't need it.
No,
He's learning.
Yes. We're happy to see.
I know for a fact you spend hundreds of dollars on plastic model kits.
Wait,
So shut your mouth.
You know this man?
I do now.
He made a psychic link to my brain. Now I'm downloading all his thoughts. He's constantly downloading mine.
Google, show me this guy's Amazon, please.
I gotta say, I'm very disturbed by the Hello Kitty images, but let's move on. So, Braden's all about the plans. And, that plan is very smart because you're going to want to have another part of the plan, which is how you're going to accommodate your risks. Because let's say you've got this plan and you work it out and all's going good. And you're like, okay, still got money left over. Now I'm going to buy that $300 anime body pillow. And you buy that, and all of a sudden, you lose a limb spontaneously. It falls off your body, and you're going to need to go to the hospital.
Yes, I've seen many cases of this.
You don't got any more money because you didn't account for these random little things that pile up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is this coming from personal experience, Tyler?
No comment.
I told you that in confidence, Tyler. This is a very serious matter.
Listen, Cyborg Man, it was pretty obvious with your
Freaking
robot legs.
Watch your profanity.
It's okay, I'll just edit it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Tyler, can we get a frickin'?
freaking
The boys, you're gonna want to do this. I got some key techniques here. 4 techniques you're gonna want to learn to help you with risk. 1, simply avoid it. Don't do stupid stuff, which I know you were prone to do when I do stupid stuff.
Oh, you mean like spend $200 on a model kit, Tyler?
Let's not-
You mean like that?
This call-out culture is disgusting, and I'm ashamed that you're a part of it. Anyway, the other one is you want to reduce the possibility that something's kind of just inevitable, but you want to take as many steps as you can to reduce how that is going to impact you when it does happen. The 4th is to just give up, which by that I mean accept. You just got to accept that you're going to lose, something out of this negative consequence.
Very low point in your life.
And like when you accept death. Anyway, so what you want to do, 4th one is, I know it's very hard for you, but share. You're gonna want to share, get your friends involved maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You
Sharing
guys
is
can
caring.
Start, donating to each other, so the impact might not be as great. That's a pretty optional option, but it's a very nice thing to do for your homies.
Victor, I know I would be there for you if you would be there for me, so we can share a little bit of that risk load.
You can always remember this handy dandy anchor of RAD, risk managed and diversified.
Very impressive.
Come from?
Bridger, isn't that Armad? Or is there a hyphen in there somewhere?
It's hyphenated, just for the purpose of that acronym.
Excellent.
Bridger, what would you say that your spending habits are?
They're pretty good. I never leave my house. I just order all the stuff off the Amazon. Like food, done. Anything I need, done. The only thing I leave my house to do is go to school and get gas in my car.
Bridger, how do you generate income?
I do a lot of stocks. Maybe
So,
some black market deals.
Would you
kind
say
of
you have
stocks?
good risk management?
That's why I'm red.
Have you ever invested in Tesla?
No.
We're safe.
Yeah, I heard the old man Joseph, he invested in Tesla. Very unfortunate for him.
Haven't seen him since.
He lost his entire real estate business
And one of his
comic book
limbs.
collection.
And his anime body pillow. It was very sad.
Can we get a moment of silence for our friend Joseph?
I'm just going to take this moment of silence to talk about our sponsor, Uber Eats. If you're ever hungry, just go ahead and order from home.
took the doggy.
You can't see her.
All right, moment of silence is complete.
Now, have any of you guys experienced having to deal with debt? Maybe in your family, maybe you personally.
I have.
Can you tell us about that experience?
So, debt, you need to, again, this all goes back to spending plans. You need to set up a spending plan, and that's why budgets help. It can help so that you can set aside for paying for your week's allowance or your week's food or what you're going to buy that week, and then you can set aside some extra money for paying off that debt. But you do need to limit your spending, and that's one of the hardest parts.
And for those of you that may not know at home, debt is the total amount that a person owes to others. So, what is this personal experience with debt that you have had maybe recently?
Well, when I lost my limb and my anime body pillow, I had to buy a limb off the black market, and it just so happened to be from my friend Bridger here.
That was a little bit as I was getting into my rad days, because before I was rad, I had tons of debt. I bought way too much popcorn.
And limbs.
My house was filled with popcorn. It was contaminated by these bloody limbs.
Yo, why'd you just turn to another person for a second there?
Until very, very recently, Bridger actually had 3 arms.
Yes,
I think Bridger's a lizard person.
it was very
I'm
impressive.
just gonna come out and say it.
Anyways, maybe a more realistic example. Recently, I purchased a car, getting it from my grandparents, and they offered me a loan for it, and so that I would pay them back for the car. Car cost me $2,000, and they were just going to charge me a flat 10% interest, not compound, not anything, just to give me a taste of what it's like. So I was very fortunate in that, and so I'm in debt to them at the moment, and I'm currently working to pay it off, putting down all of the extra money I earn towards paying off that debt, rather than putting it towards lunch at McDonald's, or maybe a microtransaction in a game. I try to avoid that and put that extra money towards paying off my car and paying insurance and gas for what little it takes.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, your cars. You got any insurance on that, Drake?
I do. I have to pay insurance on it monthly.
Well, that's pretty good, because, insurance is also a part of risk. In fact, it's one of the main ways people will mitigate or manage their risk. You see, what you want to do is you want to learn a couple more terms. We got the premium, and that's the part of the insurance that they pay. And you got... You don't want those sneaky guys messing up your premium, okay?
Sneaky
Pay attention when you're doing those premiums.
I had to beat off 3 insurance sneakers this morning.
Ah,
And then the other part is the deductible. That's the part you pay. And that's usually what you gotta do before they'll even give you any part of their money for the insurance issue at hand.
Yes.
Did you have any issues, Braden, when you needed to get those limbs attached to your body?
well, yes, it was very painful.
We're talking insurance.
I'm talking about, was it painful to your wallet?
Yes, it was very painful.
This Obamacare shit say this is dope, man.
Tom, I made some
But
New
no,
Jersey Turnpike.
Realistically, limbs are pretty expensive from what I would guess. Just saying. And you most likely would have to also make a down payment if you don't want to spend the rest of your life paying it off. And what a down payment is something that you pay up front with cash, or right from the get-go when you buy that thing, and that's when you start up your insurance payments. It just helps to have down payments if you don't want to have to take as much time to pay off something.
Now, Brayden, would you say that if you hadn't made a down payment, that would become overwhelming debt?
Yes, the debt would slowly rise over... Well, the debt would decrease over the next few years or so, and that would not be good because I would have to consistently be making spending plans and budgeting, even for stuff like food or like fast food. I would have to be budgeting every single day of my life, and that is just too hard to be doing.
Now, overwhelming debt would really accumulates when you don't put that extra money towards that debt to pay it off. For those of you who may need to deal with debt. Now, so I know we have a tech enthusiast with us here. Are there any new technologies on the financial market that you would like to tell us about?
There's some people who don't realize there's certain things with money that you can do. Like your phone's got a NFC chip in it, so you can add your credit cards, debit cards, gift cards, all that garbage to your phone. So you don't even need a wallet most of the time. You got your virtual wallet.
Similar to Samsung Pay and Apple Pay.
Yes, that's exactly kind of that stuff.
Now, Bridger, for those of us who don't know what NFC may be, what does NFC stand for?
Communications. Basically, I take my phone, I put it next to something, the thing in that, I put it next to like a chip reader, and that chip reader communicates with the phone, says, hey, I need money, and it gives the money right over. It's like, these deets, take that money.
So the NFC chip in your phone is like the one that you had that they recently implemented on the cards to prevent identity theft. So
it's a lot safer than using the swipey boys.
Swipey boys. Shut your swine mouth.
I like
That's
this lingo.
The official term. No.
This is official economics lingo. It is not funny.
That was Tyler slapping.
I'm about to make you drink.
Freaking.
It just comes out of
Who's Mike Check?
Well,
That's our cleaning lady. I'm sorry about that. I'll get
Whoa.
over here.
Mike is a man's man.
Come on. Just go.
Wow. Is that how you treat your health?
What do you mean? Oh, no, he doesn't pay off his debts.
Clean lady?
Are you
Mike-
assuming what they prefer to identify as?
Wow.
Now, that's what we're trying to avoid. Political gender correctness.
We're trying to avoid political correctness?
What's happening?
On the bright side, Econverse recommends you visit the brain cell subreddit.
Get rest up today. Hey,
Let's get back on track. Bridger just finished talking about NFC, the swipey boys.
Well-
So the NFC chip is in most modern phones, especially the flagship ones, and I've found it very useful when paying for things, and it's much more secure than. Ow! Tyler, what the?
Freaking.
He slipped the disc, I'm sorry.
Stop,
He
please.
slipped the disc.
The NFC chip in your phone is handy dandy because I lost my debit card. I knew it was in my house because I don't leave my house, and this was on the rare occasion I was actually out of my house.
I've done
And
the same
so I
thing.
used my phone, and I was like, oh no, I lost my wallet. I needed to pay for my coffee. So I pulled out my phone, I opened my virtual card, and I gave them all the details, like right there. I paid for it through my phone.
That seems pretty handy.
It can also be referred to as paying by phone, because you use your phone, you just pay. Cool.
Nice.
Really bringing the term payphone back.
I get it.
Back in the 90s.
Joke.
So it seems pretty handy that you can do that from your phone nowadays. It definitely helps if you lose your debit card.
Yeah. Does that work with credit cards?
Yes. Any cards. Like, I've got Taco Bell gift cards on my phone because,
Oh, I didn't actually know that. That's cool.
Now, keep in mind that having easy access to credit cards may not actually be a good idea, because that could wind up accumulating large amounts of debt, becoming overwhelming if you don't use your financials smartly.
If you
Have a smart financial plan.
You don't smart.
there you go. If you don't have a smart financial plan, then you are going to eventually have a overwhelming debt that's just going to impede on your lifestyle and what you want to buy.
keep in mind you can also possibly get debt, because if you're always on the leading edge of financial services, you might get into a service that's not secure yet. You might get your identity stolen, and they buy a house using your card.
Just like our sponsor, Uber Eats.
I know that happened to Victor, right, Victor? When that man stole your identity.
That's right. I mistakenly ordered my lunch from the similarly named Uber Cheats, who forced me to become addicted to gambling and McDonald's at the same time.
Unfortunate. Sometimes it does happen though.
Nope, it doesn't. I lied.
And we're back here with this.
Well, it looks like that's all the time we have for our podcast. I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us, and yeah.
What's the setup for e-commerce?
We need to redo that outro. Man.
Yes, we do.
Scream during it.
What's the setup for e-commerce?
Thank you for watching Econverse. Looks like that's all.
Tyler, shut the
Freaking
up.